Simon Boxall is a senior lecturer in oceanography at the University of Southampton. Thank you for coming on the show. Now, time is running out. I mean, what are the key challenges, would you say, the rescue mission's facing now?
Well, assuming that the submarine is still intact, which we all hope it is, the first thing is they've got to locate it. We don't know whether it's snared on something, whether it's hit some technical problems, whether it's sitting on the seabed. And although the search area isn't huge, they knew where it went in. It can't travel that far. It hasn't got very powerful motors. But there's still a significant search area given the timescale we have. Once it's been found, the next challenge is how do you get it back to the surface? Again, that's not trivial. It's not so much a question of it would be a problem in, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 metres of water. But we're talking here about nearly 4 kilometres. Ships with that sort of cabling, with that sort of capability, are very rare. There is, I understand, a cable laying ship which has arrived on scene now, which is helping the search. It has specialised ROVs for cable laying, but even that only has a capability really down to 3,000 metres. So, you know, we're talking about maybe a handful of ships worldwide that can do this. But they're not all sitting around Newfoundland at the moment.
It sounds like the best chances of survival there might be if it's floated up to the surface somehow.
Yes, I mean, these things are equipped with various fail-safe mechanisms in theory. So they can sort of lose ballast, like a balloon can lose sandbags and things to float. They can do the same thing with this thing. And you then want to ask the question of why hasn't that happened so far? So is it snagged on the seabed somewhere, in which case, you know, it may well be they don't have enough power to unsnag it or to sort of rip it away from what it's been snared on. And you can't get out. I mean, you know, we know that it's already sealed at the surface, but there's no point in being able to get out anyway, because the pressures down there would crush you within a second. So it's a really perilous situation.
Can you give us an idea of what conditions might be like for the crew on board this submarine?
Apart from being terrified, it's going to be cramped. You know, people talk about this being about the size of a sort of a small van with the seats taken out, uncomfortable. Fine if you're going down for, you know, 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, the adventure, the excitement, keep the adrenaline going. If you're down there for 12, 24, 46 hours, then it starts to get uncomfortable. It'll get quite warm down there. There is heating on the system to stop the cold temperature around the ocean causing problems inside. But, of course, if they're stuck down there for like the time, those bodies, the electronics on board, will tend to warm the whole thing up. And so, you know, basically, if you can imagine you're stuck in a small van with no facilities at all for 2, 3 days, 4 days, you can start to imagine the problems they're going to start hitting. The key one, of course, is they are running out of oxygen, and that's the lifeline.
The search area has been expanded. Where is this submarine most likely to be? You mentioned before that it doesn't have a huge range, but where could it be?
Well, it doesn't have a huge range, but of course, as time goes on, ocean currents could also move it, unless it's sitting on the seabed. And it'll be down there, and I think the problem is that people assume that we can see it very quickly. You can't see through the ocean. You can't use radar. You're using sonar systems that sweep the seabed. But of course, you're in an area which is, by definition, a wreck area. So there are all kinds of parts of the Titanic scattered across the seabed. They're trying to pick up this very, very small target amongst this huge ship. And so, you know, it is literally looking for a needle in a haystack. The haystack's the Titanic, and the submersible is the needle. Which is fine if you've got days or weeks or months even to try and find it. They've got hours, and this is the big problem. And getting the right equipment out there to do these deep sea sonar surveys, again, is a problem. You know, they are 2 days away from the nearest port. And they are using aircraft at the moment, using airborne sonar systems. But they are very limited in what they can do. They're designed really for looking at sort of military submarines in the near surface. They don't go anything like that deep. So, you know, the challenges are there in terms of technology, and the clock is ticking.
It certainly is. Simon Boxall, thank you very much for your insight and explanation of what could possibly lie in store. Thank you.
Thank you.